Oh man, what's going on? It's Friday. Who we got in the building? Who do we have in the building? I see at least 3 people already. Who are you? Where you watching from? What's your name? How do I know you? Who invited you? Let's give them a shout out. We have a great guest today, man. You know, I am working on my time management and being, you know, better. That was one of my biggest critiques, is that the show go forever. I'm like, it's a podcast. We talking, we chatting, we breaking bread. How do you put a time on that? What better do you have to do than to hang out with us and chit chat it up? I don't know, man. You tell me. So y'all know April, look, check it out. April is Poetry Awareness Month, man. Shout out to all the poets that's out there. It's Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. It's Month of the Military Child. Shout out to all the brats out there. It's Child Abuse Awareness Month. It's Autism Awareness Month. And it's like a million other different awarenesses. It's like intern appreciation, volunteer appreciation. Look, it's a lot of stuff going on this month, man. Get into your handy dandy devices. Pull them out. Educate yourself. Learn some stuff. You know, make everything better. I'm going to give a shout out to, look at that. That's my boy Dusty Garage. That's old Gonzo down in Texas, man. Y'all want some stuff done? Yeah, that dude, he has a crazy array of things that he can get done. That's my little cousin right there, man. That dude, he be doing his thing. He got all kind of, lawn care and stuff that he do in the Augusta area. And that's Rio. Rio, you want to get big like this dude, swole, get your eating right on, man, contact Rio. Oh. We got 1 minute. All right, check it out. Quote of the day. Quote of the day says, we are going to have peace, even if we have to fight for it. Dwight D. Eisenhower. We're going to have peace, even if we got to fight for it. I like it. We're going to have peace. Oh, that last one was Tenacity, man. That's my brother and sister, man. They over in Hawaii. That's their watch company. If you're a watch head like me, and if you served in the Navy, you might want to go and check those out. And it's not just for sailors. If you like to be at sea, you like the, But it was initially started for, submariners, and now the sailors as well. So shout out to him. It's my cousin Joey, man. He's doing his thing in the Columbus, Troy, Alabama area, man. Hit him up, man. You got kids getting ready to graduate. He doing pictures. He doing everything. He got you covered. So that's all the small business owners, man. Not all of them. We want to give a shout out to my sponsor, the Jewel Junkie, where they add style to your smile, $5 at a time. That's my boss. She's gotta make sure she ain't watching me, and I'm not forgetting to mention the boss. So yeah, shout out to the Jewel Junkie, man. She keep me straight. But if you have any event, formal, informal, whatever, man, and you just wanna look like $1 million without having to spend $1 million, yeah, y'all need to go on over to jeweljunkie.com and check her out. You ain't gotta break the bank to look amazing. Shout out, man. Today's my grandmother's birthday. Shout out to grandma, the gunslinger, and the biggest heart in the world. But you better not mess up. Grandma. She'll hem you up. But we love you. Rest in heaven. We miss you. And I'm hoping that everybody's being safe out there at the fish fry. I want to shout out to my brothers and sisters. I'm trying to get my sister on here for Poetry Awareness Month, man. She got a whole book out. I'm going to have to put that on here so that you guys can check it out and go support her. And I'm like, dang, man, you leaving me in the dust. I'm trying to keep up. Shout out to everybody that shouted me out on my birthday 2 days ago on the 6th. That's why April is amazing. Shout out to my kids. So I be forgetting all these people in the beginning, man. I just be on here rambling, be excited about the guests. But shout out to my kids. I'm gonna shout out Marquise, Deasia, and Anaja. You know, holding it down, doing great things out there, man. Shout out to y'all. Did I shout out my brothers and sisters? Shout out to my brothers and sisters. One of them on the road, man. Y'all pray for them. Keep them in prayer. Traveling mercies. And big shout out to my grandbaby that's on the way. My cartoon watching partner. Yes. On that note, let's get to the poem of the day. All right, we're gonna do a poem since it's Poetry Awareness Month. Hopefully y'all can bear with me for a second. Like I said, trying to be mindful of time. And I'm only 2 minutes over. And my guest is already in the building, and we did our comms checks already. So this one is called A Dozen Roses 3. Let's see if we can get this thing done. Once I heard it said that love lives on even when we're dead, or blooming like beautiful flowers, giving us power to lighten our darkest hour. And since a rose represents romance, give me a chance to have this dance with your heart. As we prance and part through the rest, let me rest this rose upon your chest. For to press a beautiful thing against another is like handing a newborn baby to their mother. But here's another rose to put close to your nose and inhale. As we dwell in the house of prayers, watching as haters roam through, trying to play us. Yet them traitors can't change us. That's why I hand you the third. Being a nerd at loving is your specialty. So come to me as I watch thee move. The fourth is the way you groove. Skin so smooth it has to be you that I'm with. So I'll just hand you the fifth. As we sift our way through trials and hard times, you remain calm and kind. You're always on my mind. So I hand you rose number 6. Drop all the tricks and the magic bag. But number 7 is because you made me glad. During the times I thought I'd been had, you came through and I really appreciate it. So I'll give you rose 8. Hating the wait, I rush to you as soon as I can. For the fact that I'm your man, I stand behind rose 9. Cause you're so fine that they should give you a shrine and call it divine. Trying to keep my feelings in, I'll kiss you rose 10. Well, not only are you my woman, but homie, lover, friend. Gotta scroll up. Where are you? Ooh, yes, this is a long poem, y'all. Lover, friend. And to the end, we'll bend the rules and regulations. So number 11 will keep us racing. Hand in hand, never procrastinating. I swiftly rush you, rose 12. For you make me feel swelled, and I love to dwell in your arms forever. So keep my roses closer than ever, cause these will never die or grow old during seasons of hot or cold. Be bold in all your choices, and pick me when the voices cry, cause I'll always be ready to reply with 3 simple words. Keeping our love high like birds or tight like herds of cattle. I saddle up and ride out. I'm thinking of your beautiful poses. You think of me and keep with you these dozen roses. That was A Dozen Roses Part 3, y'all, man. Hopefully, I didn't pause too long. So, on that, A Dozen Roses Part 3, Poetry Awareness Month, man. Shout out to all the poets that be out there. Hopefully, I didn't chop that up too bad. Well, we're going to bring in my guest. My guest of honor tonight is the one, the only, my old commander, a Foxtrot medic. What's going on, Steve Quinn?
Hey, how's it going, Marty?
It's going, brother. How are you?
I mean, life is good. Still in Texas, just relaxing, you know.
Yeah.
And keep an eye out on all them Foxtrot soldiers over there at Fort Sam Houston.
Look, you still get to see them Falcon medics every now and then?
I mean, I'm pretty close, man. I'm stone throw away from Fort Sam Houston, so yeah.
That's good stuff. So look, I had a couple of your battle buddies in on the show. I had Anderson, I had Lisa, and I might have had a couple more that you might have ran with.
Ron?
Huh?
Hey, You say yeah, Ron, my battle buddy.
Yeah, I had Run on.
Oh man, good stuff.
Look, he's getting there, but his beard isn't as epic as yours.
Nah, I mean this is 2 years in the making right here.
Okay, yeah, he's still working on it, but it looked good though. He coming for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I got to keep it trimmed up a little bit just because of the professional organization that I work for.
Okay.
So I mean, working at USA, and dealing with just different levels of leadership. I don't want it to be full grown,
Yeah.
but I still want a little bit of identity.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. I'm glad that you said that too because it's good to know that you can enjoy uh your facial hair and still be in a professional environment. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We're gonna jump into this thing.
Now let's do it.
All right. So tell us, who are you, where you from, and what do you do?
So, as you've already stated, I'm Steve Quinn. Um, I'm a I'm from originally from the state of Florida, but I grew up in Texas, and eventually made my home in Texas after I retired from the military back in 2018.
Oh wow.
So, and since retirement, I've like I said, I work at USA. I'm an executive operational planning director at USA. So, and I've been there for about 3 years. But you know, obviously, being a military guy, with that, I'm a dad. I'm a dad of two kids. My daughter, Ashley, who's just turned 24. My son, who's about to turn 19. Both of them in college. And
Nice.
then, of course, me being married to my wife of will be 26 years in August. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a testament in itself, because there's not many military folks or prior military folks that can attest to that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the military is hard. It's hard on families. It's hard on relationships. It's hard on a lot of things. But for me and my wife to sit through that and go through the challenges, the ups and the downs through the Army, and to be able to stick through it thick and thin, I think is a testament of her reserve and of what my kids will be able to accomplish in the world today.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm glad you mentioned all that because it is month of the military child. So shout out to the little Quins, not so little
Yeah,
anymore.
no, not so little.
They always gonna be your little kids though, right?
They'll always be my babies
That's right,
for sure, 100%.
100%. And shout out to Miss Quinn, man. That's awesome. 26 years. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give to someone, young leaders, young service members that are, they're married and like you said, it's tough on marriages in the military. How did you guys make it work?
I mean, you gotta depend on each other. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about compromise. It's all about sacrifice, and it's all about never being 100% right. I mean, because relationships are tough. I mean, especially in today's world and everything. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody has to be right, and so forth and so on. But it can't be that way. I
Yeah.
mean, it has to be a true compromise, and sometimes you just have to admit, like when I'm wrong, you're wrong, or if you're right, don't embellish in it and don't rub it in the other space and stuff like that. But there's give and take in a relationship. But at the end of the day, um, for me and for my wife, I mean, we got to put God first, right? I
Mm,
mean, so God is always first in our lives, and
yes.
then everything else tends to work itself out. So as long as I have God guiding the reins and taking the reins and doing what He needs to do, I think everything else will work itself out. But more importantly than all that, I mean, again, it's just having trust and faith in each other that you guys are going to make the right decisions for the relationship.
Yeah, that's good. So you retired in 2018.
I did.
2018. When you retired, how many years of service did you have?
So I had 20 years of service. Now let me kind of explain this, because my retirement wasn't by choice, and I don't know if you know this, Marty, but obviously, like you said, I was the company commander of Foxtrot, and then I left Foxtrot and I went off and did some things with the capabilities branch and doing some planning and things of that nature. And then I went to Korea and I came back and I got extremely sick,
Oh wow.
and almost died. So in 2017, I was sick for like 2 months,
Oh wow.
and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And I kept going back and forth to the hospital here at Fort Sam Houston, and they had no clue what was going on. And it seemed like every 5 or 6 days I was in the emergency room. And at one point, the emergency room was like, "Hey, we don't know what's wrong with you, but we think that you're not telling us the truth." And I'm like, "No, something's wrong." Finally, right before I got promoted to major, um, I went in. I was in respiratory distress, and I said, "Look, guys, something's definitely wrong." It turned out to be there was something wrong. They rushed me up to the cardiac floor. They started doing a bunch of tests. They started doing a bunch of ultrasounds and everything like that, and ended up that I had blood pumping back into my lungs from my heart, and
Mm.
and so all that happened. They took me back. They had to put me on a bypass and everything like that because they had to eventually open me up. And what ended up happening is I had a rare bacterial infection that got into my bloodstream
Oh
that
wow.
ate my mitral valve away. So I had to get a mechanical valve. And shortly after that, and you mentioned one of your guests, Lisa Shabbat. She was actually the commander of the unit that I was in. Had come to me and told me, "Hey, look, we're gonna have to start looking at a medical board." And I was like, "No, I'm too close to 20 years. I don't want to retire. I have a lot of stuff left to do."
Right.
Um, but obviously, God had other plans, and so shortly after I recovered and everything along that lines, I started the process for medical retirement. I hit my 20 years, got my medical retirement. I'm 100% disabled now,
Okay.
but I'm able to live life,
Yeah.
and I'm able to do good things. I am still working for our service members by the virtue of working at USAA,
Absolutely.
and so I still have a purpose. I still have a desire to serve. And I don't think that desire is ever going to go away, or at least not anytime soon.
Yeah. And we got QD Boss in the house. What's going on, sis? How you doing? I'm glad you joined us. You came in right on time. We got Steve Quinn in the house, my old commander. So look, check it out. So you got your retirement. It's not the way you want it to go out, but like you said, it's not always how we expect for things to happen. And God's timing is His timing, right? So let's go back 20 years. What was the driving factor that said, "I'm gonna go into the military"?
Family. Um, I was selling furniture,
Yeah.
and I was selling furniture in a furniture store in Florida. My wife and I had been married for a short period of time. I think we'd been married for almost 2 years at the time, and she was pregnant with my daughter, my oldest child. And at that point, I had a decision to make. I was like, how am I gonna support my family? How am I gonna do the things that I need to do? And a matter of fact, this is my daughter right here.
Hey, how
Um,
are you?
she's come to say bye, but bye, baby. I love you too. Um, but so I was like, I need to do something. I needed some more stability. I need something to do. And ironically enough, a recruiter came into the furniture store and we talked a little bit. I sold him some furniture, and he sold me the ideas and the life of the Army. So
Yeah.
I had a 3 year plan, and I was come into the Army, get some get some health benefits, and then get some education benefits, and roll out.
Yeah.
Well, that 3 year plan turned into a 20 year plan,
Yeah.
and the rest is written in history.
Okay. Did you have any family that served in any of the branches before you?
So yeah, so I have a long lineage of family members that served in the military, dating all the way back to World War II.
Okay.
And probably even before that. Um, but yeah, so grandfather served, my father served. and everything along that lines. And my father he was a what we call in the Army drill sergeant, but he was a TI. They're called technical instructors in the Air Force.
Okay.
And so he was a technical instructor for the Air Force. And when I was younger and as I grew up, I was like, there's no way in heck that I'm going to be joining any branch of the military. Not if I have to deal with somebody like this. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but obviously things change and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So look, 20 years of service. What were some of your pros and cons of that time that you did serve? Because you said it was a 3-year plan, and you finished it out to 20.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard to look at pros and cons, right? I mean, obviously the cons of being in the military is just deployment because the military's mission, is win the United States wars, right? Yep. And so just one of the cons is being away from family, having to go face the enemy, look eye to eye to the enemy, and then the possibility of death, right?
Yeah.
And so that's always a con. It's always something that sits in the back of somebody's mind, of all service members' minds. But at the end of the day, the pros definitely outweighed it, right? I mean, the pros for stability, the pros of meeting people that I call brothers and sisters, and that I can reach out to any day of the week.
Yeah.
That they would stop what they're doing in order to help me out, right?
Yeah.
Just the pros of making sure that mouths are fed, how a roof over the head and everything along that lines. I mean, so there are so many pros from the military. The list is endless, and again, and they definitely outweigh the cons. Because for me, the cons are minimal.
Yeah.
As compared to all that.
Yeah. So let's take one step backwards. You came in, you enlisted, but you retired as an officer.
I did.
So how much time did you do as a enlisted soldier before you switched over?
So, funny thing. So I joined the Army a little bit later in life, right? So most people join in the Army when they join the Army, they're 18 out of high school. They're joining the Army, 20 years, they're 38 years old, 40 years old, and they go off and do other things. I was a little bit older. I was about 24 when I actually went to basic training. My wife was pregnant, as I said, and so I had a little bit more maturity on some of my peers at the time, right? And as I started progressing through the ranks, and I went through rank very fast, and you as an enlisted guy, you can attest this. I mean, in 2 years I was an E5, 4 years I made E6, 7 years I made E7, right? So in 7 years I made E7, and then as I started going between my 7th and 10th year, I was doing college and all this sort of stuff, and I was in recruiting, and I was noticing what caliber of person we were putting in the Army to become officers to lead our young men and women, right? And so I was like, oh no, if these guys are becoming officers and these guys are doing all this sort of stuff, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
So I actually put a packet in to go OCS, which is Officer Candidate School.
Yeah.
And was accepted for that. Well, unbeknownst to me, the medical department, I was in medical recruiting at the time. Well, the medical department has a little thing, what they call direct commissions, right? And so I was working for a lady her name was Deborah Stewart. She was a lieutenant colonel. She was in charge of the 2nd Medical Battalion, which was out of Miami. And she said, "Hey, Steve, let me ask you a question." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, why are you wanting to become an officer? And I explained the reason why. I'm like, look, I just feel that I can lead at an officer level. I think that I've done a lot. I've accomplished a lot as an enlisted guy, and I'm looking to see what I can do from the officer perspective. And she was like, well, does it matter if you're going back to your old MOS as an MP officer, or do you have your options and availability open? I'm like, well, I'm open. And she goes, well, let me tell you about this little thing called 70 Bravo, right? And so she told me about it, and I'm like, ma'am, why are you telling me this? There hasn't been a 70 Bravo board like in 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, I expect to see your packet on my desk on Tuesday. This was like a Thursday over the weekend. Well, I expect to see your packet on my desk like the next Tuesday. And it's like, all right. So I talked to the captain that was in the office at the time. His name was Wade, Captain Wade. And I was like, hey, what is she talking about? He goes, I don't know, but she told me that we need to get this done, get the interview stuff done. And so threw the packet in, and I was the only guy that was non-medical that was selected for a direct commission. So I was just right place, right time, you know. And so I was like, you know, why not? And so I became an officer. So one morning I was an E7, and then the next morning I was a E8, or a second lieutenant, you know, butter bar. So, and I thought, hey man, it beats having to go to officer candidate school, because if anybody that's ever done it or been through it knows that officer candidate school is no joke. And so I figured, hey, might as well take advantage of it if I can, you know?
Yeah, that's good stuff. You know, you don't hear too many people that talk about the direct commission and actually experiencing it. So that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So what were some of the unique challenges you faced in the transition from NCO to officer?
Oh man. So, I mean, and I'm going to tell you, you probably experienced some of this up close and personal from me, right? I mean, I mean, most officers are a little bit more reserved. You know, they sit back and they look at things from a different perspective. Towards me, I was definitely involved, right? I tried to get all hands in, right?
Yeah.
And I made decisions very quickly, right? And so I just didn't have time to sit around and just play games or anything along that lines. And so, and again, you saw some of the stuff, right? I mean, so where some officers, you know, and I'll go back to some of the things that we did at Foxtrot. When I came in as a company commander, you know, Article 15s and things of that nature, you know, for me as an enlisted guy, an Article 15 is like bad stuff, right? I mean, it's like the last resort, right? Yeah. And if you remember correctly, when I came into Foxtrot, I'm like, hey guys, we need to stop this. We need to just stop with the whole Article 15s, and we need to allow the non-commissioned officers to do their job, right? Because non-commissioned officers are there to mentor, mold, guide, direct, do all this sort of stuff in order to make these soldiers who they are, right? They're there to develop these soldiers,
right?
And so those are the types of things, you know, where I would come in and I would put my NCO hat on, right? And so those are some of the challenges that I would tend to put my NCO hat on, probably more so often than I needed to. But at the end of the day, I believe, and I'm a little bit biased towards it, but I believe that the prior NCOs make the best officers in the Army, just because we've been there, we understand it,
right?
And we listen, right? And so my challenges is that I would try to go back to my NCO mode as compared to just keeping it officer and just trying to stay in that lane. And I'm like, I couldn't do it, right? I couldn't stay in that lane. I had to swim in both lanes just because I've been there and I experienced it all.
Yeah, that is a common thing for a lot of, you know, service members that did serve both sides. So you said that very eloquently. So being in the military, we have our share of injuries. Did you have any injuries that caused setbacks for you?
Yeah, I did actually. I actually had an injury that I had a lower back injury that put me on a P2 profile, where I couldn't run for the longest time. And then I just was like, one day I was just like, you know what? I can't do this anymore, right? I've got to figure this out. And so started going to some physical therapy, doing a bunch of different things. And I said, you know what? How's this going to make me better? So I started doing some different things with weights and just a whole bunch of different stuff. And I mean, and you know, man, I mean, you served in the military, you know, 20 plus years yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to see injuries, and sometimes you got to battle through them. But at the same time, when you need help, right? And so I always encourage my soldiers to look, if you're hurt, you know. I mean, and there's a difference between injured and hurt, right? I mean, so like if you're hurt, okay, got it. But are you injured, right? I mean, now if you're injured, different story. Now we need to start taking the precautions and procedures in order to get you squared away. So, I mean, there's going to be times where you're hurt, and then there's going to be times that you're injured. And so, I mean, and I always took the side of the soldier when things like that happen. And so again, yeah, numerous times. I mean, ankle injuries, just plantar fasciitis, calf injuries. I mean, you're going to see it, right? I mean,
Right.
it's just the nature of being a soldier, especially, for soldiers. I mean, not to dish our sister services, but the Navy and Air Force, not as hardcore. But when you start getting into the Marine Corps and Army stuff, I mean, we're doing some things that are just out of the box, just crazy type stuff. I mean, you remember we set up some of those obstacle courses for the medics and stuff like that.
That's right.
I mean, they're running around with friggin' just all sorts of stuff in order to accomplish these obstacle courses, and it's just like, man, this is crazy stuff, and you got to pull through some of those injuries.
Yeah. Look, I remember when you came to us, you were coming off, you were getting back to, I don't know if I would say 100%, but when you got to Foxtrot, you were like, yo, I was injured, I worked my way back, let's go, baby.
Oh yeah, yeah. We run every day, man.
They knew when it was us, because they say, they be like, hey, senior, come in real quick. Look, we see y'all get to the road and make that right face, that column right, and all we see is pew. They
Yeah,
said the whole
we're
company's
gone, brother.
A-train.
Yep.
I said, yeah,
Hey,
man.
man.
Look. I said,
But you
Captain
know what?
Quinn, man, he just got off of that injury, and he is showing y'all we can run.
And you know what? We didn't have many PT failures either.
No, we didn't. We
And those
didn't.
and those that did fail ended up passing by the time it was time to graduate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think in my whole time in command that we had a PT failure holdback for Foxtrot. We had some other holdbacks, but nothing was PT failure.
Yeah. Well, we had Ramirez. That was
Ramirez, but Ramirez was before me.
yeah, he was, but he stayed with us for a little bit.
He stayed with it, but you know what? He ended up passing.
Yeah.
We got him through it.
Yeah, he got up out of there. He went to Hood,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I think he did.
So look, knowing that, seeing the after effect of that injury, how did the injury affect you mentally, and what did you do to address it, fix it, and turn things around to where we saw you come off of it?
I mean, look, I think when you serve in the military and you start hitting these certain ranks, right? And from a young soldier, when I was young in the military, I was running, at 24, 25 years old after basic training, running 12-minute 2 miles or whatever the case might be, doing really good on PT and all that sort of stuff. And then to have the injury and then to just sit back and not be where you need to be. I mean, it affects you bad, right? I mean, at the end of the day, your mental state is like, man, how am I going to be able to perform in front of my peers, in
Right.
front of my subordinates and all
Yeah.
this sort of stuff? You start questioning yourself, right? And so for me, the defining moment was like, I was like, man, I'm starting to put on a few pounds. I'm starting to do this. My belt's getting a little bit tighter on me. I was like, absolutely not, and I said, I've got to do something. So again, I addressed it. I got the professional help that I needed to get. And then I made a concerted effort in order to make myself better. And I would just spend the extra time. I mean, I would PT in the morning. I'd PT in the afternoon, PT in the evening. And then, oh, by the way, because I was a BOLC instructor too, so as I stated before, direct commissions. I mean, we had a lot of people that come from a civilian doctor that's never done PT in their life.
Right.
So we have to get them to pass their AFPFT. So what I would start doing at that point is I would hold a remedial PT session before our actual PT session, because I knew that I had it. Look, I was an officer and I had to lead from the front, right? And
Right.
so even as a non-commissioned officer or whatever the case might be, you got to lead from the front. And so I made that point that I'm going to lead from the front. I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm going to drive forward, and I'm going to ensure that people see me trying to excel and succeed. And that trickled over, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we had soldiers. You saw it. I mean, we had soldiers that saw that, and they're like, oh, I got to beat Captain Quinn on this run, right? I mean,
Yep.
so when they go do their PT tests and stuff like that, remember, we broke it down in 2 sessions. We'd have the first run group and the second run group, and I ran with both run groups, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, guys, if you're behind me, you're going to fail, right? And so everybody was, at that point, was trying to beat me. to include females who have a different run standard.
Right.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it was good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And just that competitiveness and just being able to go out there and say, look, guys, I'm going to lead from the front,
Yeah.
and if you guys can beat me, you're going to be fine.
Absolutely. Hey, look, I got a question for you. Do you have any of the old pictures that we took for our command team?
I think I do. I have to go look at them. I have to go pull some stuff up, but I believe I might.
Yeah, I a lot of my stuff got damaged and moves. You know, I would like to put my stuff up when I get a chance. When I finally we get into the house, the retirement house.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we're in the same boat right now. I sold my house, and we're living in an apartment life. I haven't lived in over 20 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of my stuff is in storage. I got my pictures here close to me, but I know that I have some old Foxtrot pictures when me, you, Ron, and the crew were all there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you can find some and shoot and then send me the pictures. What's going on,
I'll do
Steve
that, man.
Cole? What you got going, man? Hope everything is going well on this Friday. All right, sir. So if you could change 3 things in the world, what would they be?
I mean, look, we know the world is crazy right now. It's totally wonky.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that I would want to see more love, right?
Yeah.
All the way around, right? I would like to get rid of the divide in political parties,
Oh, come
right?
on. Thank you.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, we're one America, right?
Thank you.
And we have
Yes.
different visions. We have different visions on how we see things and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, for me, it's always been for the people, by the people,
Yes.
right? And so let's take care of the people, right? And so those 2 things for sure. And I think if you can get rid of a lot of that, and show more love, get rid of the divide, and look, the hate's got to go away, man. I mean, I'm the type of person, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, purple, pink, green. You just landed here from Mars. I'm gonna embrace you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you for who you are, and then we're gonna move on. I mean, we're gonna have our differences, but I mean, that doesn't make you or me any less of a person just because we have different views.
Come on. Yes. Sounds like a true service member. All right. We got permission to jump in the time machine. So if you could talk to anyone in history, who would you pick to have a conversation with and why?
Jesus. I mean, at the end of the day, he was the teacher of all teachers, right?
Yeah.
And I would just want to I would want to hear his I would just want to hear his speeches. I just would want to hear his thoughts, his messages from God, his parables, everything that he said. I would want to hear it in person as compared to just reading it in a book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's that much more impactful when you're actually able to sit there and you embrace it. You're watching it, you're hearing it, you're experiencing it. Yeah. That would be awesome. Drill Junkie says way more love. Cancel division. Steve Co 99 says George Washington knew the party system would lead to our fall. Yeah, man.
Yep.
You know, it's anytime you add divisiveness, it's gonna be a fall would come. All right. What's one of your most memorable experiences?
The birth of my daughter
The
and my
first-
son.
Yeah.
I mean, those are always going to be memorable. I'm always going to be able to cherish those for as long as I live.
That's good stuff. So let me ask you a question. When you were enlisted, you were an MP?
So when I first enlisted, I was a 77 Fox, which is now a 92 Fox, petroleum supply specialist.
Okay.
And I ended up going to Fort Stewart, Georgia, Rock of the Marne.
Rock of the Marne,
You know,
broken TV
so,
screen.
Yeah. And I mean, to this day, I can still sing the Dog-Faced Soldier.
What?
We're not going to do it. Oh,
I'm
man.
I'm about to say, I'm Audie Murphy. I was about to get into it.
Oh, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, that is like, yeah, that's a song that will stick in the back of your mind, especially singing it for 2 years straight every single morning for PT, you know?
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. So you were a petroleum specialist, and you
Then
switched over to MP.
I did. That was at that 3 year mark where was supposed to have gotten out,
Look,
but
look,
then I
look,
decided to stay in.
look, look, sir. My soldier, his name is Steve. He's in Fort Stewart now. He said every morning, tear.
Tell him, I wouldn't give a bean
Yeah,
to be a fancy pants marine.
yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
All right. So, give us a life lesson and a leadership lesson.
life a life lesson is this: is successful people will do what unsuccessful people are unwilling or unable to do. And so this was beaten into my brain by an old sergeant major of mine,
Hmm.
and I believe it to this day. So if you want to be successful, you got to be willing to do the things that those that are unsuccessful are unwilling to do. You got to wake up early. You got to read. You've got to continuously try to improve yourself on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
And so that would be one of the life lessons. And what was the second part of that question?
A leadership lesson.
Don't try to do everything yourself.
Learn how to
Trust
delegate.
trust those that work underneath you that they're going to make the right decisions.
Okay, so look, you know your one of your pseudonyms and nicknames is Captain America. You had a whole bunch of superhero nicknames that we called you. So it was like Flash. Here you go. Watch when he make this right turn.
Yeah.
So look, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Wow. Superpower. What would it be and why? You know what? I would like the ability to turn back time. And the reason being is because I think if we could turn back time, we can eliminate some of the negative stuff that has happened over time that's led us into where we're at today.
Mm.
And so I think for sure that's something that I think I'd want to do. I mean, look, there's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of great leaders. There's a lot of greatness out there.
Yeah.
But one bad apple will ruin a bunch, and we hear that all the time,
Yeah.
right? And so we've had a couple bad apples that have gotten into the mix, and they've ruined a lot.
Yeah. So look, you that's a great point. I like that. You're in a leadership position. You served in a leadership position on the enlisted side, on the officer side, multiple MOSs, and now you're on the civilian side working with USAA. What has your definition of a leader changed, and what is your definition of a leader now?
No, my definition of a leadership hasn't changed. A leader is still there to provide purpose, motivation, and direction,
Yeah.
no matter what you do.
Okay.
That was embedded upon us early, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think that still holds true today. Because if you're not providing purpose, you're not providing the motivation, you're not providing direction, you're gonna fail at all levels.
That's good. So, what is an advice that you would give to young leaders questioning the next step forward, questioning their abilities to take charge and lead?
Don't question yourself. Just do it. If
Yeah.
you have the desire and you have the ability, then do it. Everybody has the propensity to fall, but the great leaders are the ones that stand up, dust some stuff off, and keep going forward.
Yeah. That's good. Just do it. Nike. We're not getting paid for that, but they can send a donation if they want to.
They sure can.
All right, sir. So what? Over 20 years of serving. You came in 24. You said.
I did.
So you
24
had
years
some,
old.
You had some life experience before you came in. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of leadership, of leaders that have affected you in your life?
Oh man. So I'm gonna take some leaders from the enlisted side from the army. So the very first person that I would choose is he was my first sergeant at Fort Stewart, Georgia, in 1380A. First Sergeant Andrews. This guy was the epitome of leadership, and he showed compassion, he showed strength, and he just showed the desire to mentor and to develop, right? And he took me under his wing very very quickly when he realized what I wanted to do.
Mm.
The second person would be Sergeant Major Griffin, who unfortunately was killed in the line of duty in Afghanistan while he was out on a mission. But he was another individual, again, that as a young officer in the Army, that took me aside and said, hey, look, I know what you were before. I understand that you had the NCO experience and stuff like that. Now let me help mold you into a good officer, right? Being able to take both sides of it to mold you into that officer.
Right.
And then the last person would have to be a captain that crossed my paths early in my career would be Captain Rogers. And no, not Captain America Rogers, but Captain Rogers. He was an air defense guy. But I mean, those three people, I think really helped define who I was from a military aspect, and helped define who I was going further off into life. So those would be the three people that I would probably put on in my Mount Rushmore if I had to put three people.
Okay. What is a quote that you live by?
I think I said it earlier, man. The quote that I live by is successful people do what unsuccessful people are unwilling or unable to do, and I live by that every single day. I mean, you have to. I gotta put that extra effort and that extra work in order to continue that drive. And if everybody were to do that, this world would be so much of a better place. Yeah. Stop worrying about everything that's going on to the left or to the right of you. Focus on you, and focus on you becoming a better person.
Yeah. Was it hard thinking back on, when you retired and had to transition to civilian life? Was that transition difficult for you? And what was some of the things going into the civilian sector that was kind of like, ooh?
It was extremely difficult, Marty, just because I wasn't ready, right? I mean, I still felt that I had a lot of stuff to accomplish in the military.
Yeah.
And so I felt that my military was cut short, and it was in an abrupt retirement, right?
Right.
And so it was tough. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do and everything along that nature, because most people, when they decide that they're going to retire, there's a 2-year transition period almost, right? I mean, from, hey, look, I'm going to retire. I've identified the mark on the wall, and now you've got a lot of time to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z, and you're going to prepare yourself. Not for me. My transition period was about 8 months, and it was fast and furious.
Yeah.
And so it was really difficult for me, and I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to be defined as a soldier? How am I going to be defined as a leader? And just a lot of stuff. I just had a lot of questions in life. And so after I retired, I landed a job. Still, I was a contractor and things of that nature. And then I figured it out real quick and short that, hey, look, I still want to serve, and I want to be able to take care of service members. So how can I do that?
Yeah.
And I looked within my own self and within an organization that I've been with for years already, which was USAA.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at their mission statement, I looked at their values, and everything lined up to what we do in the Army. And I said, this is who I want to be with. So I threw all my eggs in a basket in order to become a part of that organization.
Yeah.
And it happened, right? I mean, again, I did everything that I could to become a part of the organization. And I didn't start in the position that I'm in. I got a foot in the door, and once I got my foot in the door, I was able to show what I'm able to contribute, and it's led me to where I'm at now in a short 3-year time period. So it was tough, man. I mean, retirement's tough. It's not easy, and I don't think it's easy for anybody when they finally have to make that decision to hang up that hat, especially after serving for so many years and taking care of folks, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
So I have a question for you. You from day one you coming in to, 20-year mark. You know, how much education did you take advantage of?
All of it. The Army paid for a full master's degree for me while I was in the Army, and I knew that I was going to take full advantage of it.
Come on.
And so, I mean, if you don't take advantage of the tuition assistance and all that sort of stuff, then I would tell any service member that they're nuts. You need to take advantage of it. And I saved the Montgomery GI Bill, right? I donated it to my daughter, who got her 4-year bachelor's degree for free, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that saved me a lot of money, right? But the Army paid 100% of my tuition while I was in, and I took full advantage of it. Just like I'm going to take full advantage of USA, and they have a tuition assistance program as well. And I'm going to go ahead, most likely get my doctorate in management from and have USA pay for it.
Yes.
So at least the majority of it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to hear that praise report. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, you just gave us some good information, but we look back and we say, you're somebody's talking about you, giving you your roses while you're still here. What would you like for your legacy to be?
Oh, I would just like for my legacy to be that A, I lived for God. B, I took care of my family. C, I took care of those that couldn't take care of themselves.
Yeah, I like that. You cared. I like it.
I cared.
So you did a couple humble boasts already. Shout out to the family. Big shout out to the family. You have any more humble boast, a humble brag, or a shameless plug? You did plug USAA already too.
I did plug USA. Look, I'm going to say this. I wouldn't be who I am today without everyone that has crossed my path, right? To include you, to include everybody from Foxtrot, to include, my first duty station at Fort Stewart, Georgia, going to Fort Knox, Kentucky as an MP, going down to the Miami Recruiting Battalion, becoming an officer, going up to 4th Stryker Brigade in Fort Lewis, Washington, back here to San Antonio. I mean, everybody that I've crossed paths with in the military and on the civilian side has made me who I am today. And without all of these individuals that I've crossed paths, I wouldn't be who I am, because each of these individuals have left a piece of them to me that I'm able to reach back to and say, I like that. I like that attribute. I'm going to steal some of it, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of them, Marty. I mean, at the end of the day, one thing that I notice about you as a leader and stuff like that is that you were 100% selfless, right? And you took the time to ensure that your soldiers were prepared, they understood their mission, and they understood what was expected of them. And you were always there to answer the questions. I mean, there were some late hours that you worked until I said, hey, listen, guys, we're not doing this anymore, right? I mean, we're not working these late hours, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not much you can do. And you got to have time with your families and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I think that everybody that I've crossed paths with has left a portion of them with me, and I steal it. I steal a little bit of it in order to help me make me who I am. The good, of course, right?
Yeah, the good.
But I learned from the bad as well.
Absolutely. So look, you work with USAA, but you experienced them as well. What are some of the things that you would that they have that are beneficial and that could work out for a service member like me that's getting ready to retire? Some benefits that I could look at from USAA. I am a member of USAA, by the way, so you're not.
And now, are you looking from an employment perspective, or are you looking at like just USA in general?
Insurance, transitioning.
I mean, look, USA. I mean, they've done a lot of that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, one thing about USA, I know that if you were to call them and say, hey, I need somebody to give me financial advice, they're going to get you the right people, right? I need somebody to give me retirement advice, they're going to get you the right people. Insurance advice, they're going to get you the right people. And they're gonna they're gonna guide you to the direction you need to go. I mean, because they're personable, right?
Yeah.
And their mission is member first, right? And guess what? 99.9% of the members have some sort of military affiliation,
Right.
whether their mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, somebody served, or they're serving themselves, right? So at the end of the day, for me, USAA, is hands down one of the best financial / insurance institutions that walk the face of the earth, especially when it comes to our service members.
Yeah. Shout out to USAA. I would say they'll pay you for that plug, but they already paying you.
Now, they already pay me. I do that for free.
All right, sir. You just made it to the lightning round. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You open up your music device, or you get in the car. What's your top 3 most played songs?
Anything from George Strait.
Yeah.
I'm a country guy.
Okay.
So, yeah. It doesn't matter who it's. If it's George Strait, I'm listening to it.
Okay. Good stuff. What's your go-to for inspiration?
The Bible.
Okay. Favorite pastime?
Spending it with my family.
Yes. What's your favorite Bible verse?
For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son.
3:16. All right.
3:16.
What's your favorite duty station?
Oof.
It's a good one.
I gotta say, Fort Sam Houston with the Foxtrot Falcons. That was probably the best time in my military career.
Come on, Falcon medics, stand up. All right. Who's your favorite person in history?
Oh my. I'm gonna go with Martin Luther King.
Okay.
Because he did have a dream, right?
Yeah.
And if we all saw the world through his lens and did things through his lens, we'd be in a much better place.
Absolutely. I believe that. What's your favorite food?
Steak.
Steak. Favorite group musical?
It goes back to George Strait. Well, if we want to go musical group, then we'd probably have to go to like Brooks and Dunn or something like that.
Okay. Who's your favorite? Oh, you say your favorite artist is George Strait.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your childhood hero?
My mom.
Mom. Shout out to moms. Your favorite player? Any sport?
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith? You a Cowboys fan?
I'm a Cowboys fan. We've had this discussion. Oh man.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
I thought you was like a Dolphin fan or like Tampa Bay or something.
No. We you remember my office?
I know.
Y'all would give me so much.
Look, it's all good. It's all. Hey, you know what? That's much love. Any real fan that can put their stuff up and not, through stormy weather, hey, you got my respect. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. All right. So your favorite player is Emmitt Smith. Your favorite team is the Cowboys.
That is correct.
All right. Favorite cartoon?
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. Come on, Tom and Jerry. All right. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel. Who's your adult hero?
Oh my. My adult hero. My wife's grandfather.
Okay. Good stuff.
He was my inspiration to join the military, actually.
Yeah?
World War II vet.
Yeah.
Tell me all the stories about, beaches of Normandy and everything along that lines. Yeah.
Man. I bet you those were some crazy stories too. Like,
yeah.
Just, wow. So, what's your favorite vacation spot?
Anywhere where it's tropical or sunny. So, yeah.
Is that the Florida in you?
That's the Florida in me.
All right, look, you made it to the end. You want to give a shout out to anybody, some words of wisdom to close us out?
Look, for anybody that's listening, the words of wisdom is this: if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right.
You are as you say you are. So as a man speaketh, so is he.
That is correct.
Yeah, powerful. Well, look, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, spend it with us, chatting on a Friday night. I know you work busy during the week, and Friday you want to just relax. So thank you so much.
Hey, this was relaxing. I appreciate it, Marty. I'm privileged to be been a part of your podcast, and I hope some of the words that I spoke today rub off on some individuals, and they're able to go do what they need to do to become better in what they want to set out to accomplish. So, God bless everyone.
Hey, God bless you too, sir. I love you, and I'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Love you too, man. All right.
Take it easy.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's the end of the show. If you didn't catch the beginning, we did a little bit of poetry. Try to anyway. It's Poetry Awareness Month or Poetry Appreciation Month. It's one of them. I'm gonna get my sister on here to do some poems. Told her she got a book of poetry. I have a poet that's gonna be on at the end of the month, and all the other things. Like I said, what's Denim Day? When we come back, I want somebody to tell me what's Denim Day. First Sergeant said something about it the other day, but everybody wasn't here. So look, y'all, be safe this weekend. Don't do anything stupid. Look out for your buddies on the left and the right, whether that's your battle buddies, shipmates, wingman, whatever you call them. Watch out for each other. Take care of each other, and we'll see you back here. Well, he said we just had it today. What, you just had what today, Steve-O? What did y'all just have today? Denim Day? And you said the Dolphins gonna make noise this week. Hey, look, Steve-O, I'm gonna hit you up because we about to have a sports section. It's gonna be me, you, and the Master Chief. And I think one of the first sergeants. We're gonna talk sports. It's gonna be vets on sports, and we're gonna be going in on it. So yeah, but you gotta tell me what Denim Day is on the next show. All right, so everybody be safe, have a good weekend. Love you guys. Thanks for your support. And if you're out there watching and you're not signed in, create an account, sign in. It helps the algorithm. I used to hate when people used to talk about the stupid algorithm. Oh, you gotta do XYZ. You gotta watch all the way to the end. You gotta push this button. Hey, it's true. So won't y'all look at all those links at the bottom right there? Hit them up, subscribe, like, drop a comment. Help your boy out. It's free 99 except for that one that's on the far right. If you want to give me a birthday gift since it's my birthday month, hey, you can drop it right there where the Cash App is. On that note, I'm out. I'm going to eat. Take care of y'all. Everybody out there in Columbus celebrating Grandma's birthday with the fish fry. Love you guys. Take care. I'll see y'all later. Peace.